It's a third of a bottle each night. About a year ago, I had this idea, like, wouldn't it be cool to do a series where I started doing and adopting the evening routines of really interesting people and people who I look up to, especially in the health space. And one of the first people that I landed on was Ben Greenfield, because he's been kind of an inspiration to me, and he's been also a pioneer in the biohacking space. If you don't know who Ben Greenfield is, he's famous for being a self-experimenter. He was a triathlete, and he's now shifted into a more longevity-focused direction. But he talks a lot about self-quantification, he talks about self-experimentation, and about optimizing human health, increasing your lifespan, but also increasing your health span, which is the health within those years, not just having a longer life, but actually enjoying that life as well. So even though I don't always agree with everything he says, I have a lot of respect for what he's up to in the world and who he is as a person, as a leader in the health and wellness space. So Ben, if you ever want to collab, hit me up and we can make that happen. I came across this interview from Chris Williams on Modern Wisdom, where he was asking Ben about his evening routine and all the crazy stuff that Ben does. In tandem, I also stumbled on this article called The Last Resource You'll Ever Need for Sleep, or something like that, on Ben's blog, and it inspired me to try out a bunch of the things that Ben recommends and see if it matches up against the stuff that I like to do for my routine. After Ben finishes his workout and does dinner and family time, he will put on his blue light blocking glasses 90 minutes to 2 hours before bed, which is exactly what I talk about. It's exactly what I recommend. That's what I like to do, and it seems to be working just great. So I will put on my blue light blocking glasses 2 hours before bed. In this interview, Ben says that he has a big appetite even after he eats dinner. And so to curb that hunger, sometimes he will make some gelatin, some coconut gelatin with beef gelatin and a little bit of stevia, and then take some almond butter and put it on top. And he has about a 2x2 square before bed to curb his hunger pains. The reason why Ben eats this Jello is because the gelatin contains an amino acid called glycine, which makes you tired. So he uses this to sort of fend off his hunger pains and also to help him relax from the glycine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a little segment right here. As you can see, it's got a very nice jiggle to it. That's what it looks like. Beef gelatin, it's coconut milk, it's stevia, and now I'm gonna take a scoop of almond butter. 2 scoops of almond butter. Cool. I'm gonna get a little bit of cinnamon going. So this is our post-dinner sleep priming meal, I guess. It's really just, I don't know, it's interesting. Normally, I wouldn't eat anything around this time. Usually my last meal is between 4:30 and 6:30. It's already 7:30 right now, but apparently this is what Mr. Greenfield does. And let's see how it works. So in this interview, Ben says he's got 2 go-to supplements, and this is kind of where I got tripped up a little bit and things sort of turned in a direction that I didn't expect them to. But the first one is CBD. So he mentions that he takes 100 milligrams of the highest potency full spectrum CBD before bed. So I went ahead and I bought the brand that he recommends, and I took the dose that he mentioned in the video, and this is kind of what happened. So one of the crazy things about Ben Greenfield is he takes a lot of CBD before bed. This is the CBD brand that he recommends, and he takes somewhere between 100 and 600 milligrams of CBD. Apparently, that's what the studies say are most efficacious for enhancing your sleep. So for every 6 drops, there's 5 milligrams of CBD, which means 12 drops would equal 10 milligrams. So 120 drops is what I am going to put in my mouth now, which seems a bit excessive, but hey, let's give it a go. I can't believe I'm about to do this. 120 drops. That's 15 drops. It's 28. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, 43, which means I'm about halfway there. I can literally feel the CBD going into my brain at this very moment. I don't know how he does this. That's 60. Literally have 40 more drops to do. All right, let's just bust this out real quick. Oh, that is a lot of CBD. It's like a fourth of the bottle. Ugh, God. The next supplement that he mentioned was magnesium. This is something I've talked about a a lot on the channel. I've made other videos, which I will link up here and down in the description. So I opted for 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, which also has the amino acid glycine. It's magnesium bound to the amino acid of glycine, magnesium glycinate. So these are the two brands that I like. This is Cal Magnesium Glycinate, and it comes in 400 milligram tablets. And this is great for getting deep sleep. This is amazing for keeping you asleep at night. This is MagTech by Natural Stacks, and this is an amazing combination of different magnesiums. This is magnesium threorate, magnesium glycinate, and magnesium taurate. For people who have problems falling asleep, this is what I recommend. For people who want to increase their deep sleep, this is what I recommend. This is what I'm going to take tonight as I just heavily dosed myself with CBD. So I'm just going to take my normal 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate because that's what feels right now. So that's what I'm going to do. The next thing that he mentioned was that he doses with a little bit of red light therapy, and I have a red light therapy device. So typically in the morning is when I use my red light therapy device. But for whatever reason, I guess Ben likes to use it at night, so I wanted to try it out. Maybe he knows something that I don't. I made another video about how red light therapy might be able to improve your sleep, and I will link it up here and down in the description. But in my experience, red light therapy wakes me up and it's an energizing feeling. And so I was kind of skeptical going into it to see if it would actually help me sleep or not. Once he gets into bed, he says he wraps himself in a gravity blanket, puts on some blindfolds, and puts in earplugs. I have a weighted blanket, and I will link up the new weighted blanket that I'm really liking down in the description below if you want to go check it out. And I didn't have an eye mask, so I just wrapped a shirt around my face, and then I put in some earplugs. I'm gonna put these in. I am going to cover my face because I lost my eye mask. I typically don't wear earplugs because I find them to actually be more distracting. When I'm trying to fall asleep, it just feels uncomfortable in my ear, but hey, I'm open to trying new things, as everyone should. He goes on to explain how important temperature control is, which is something I also talk about, whether it's cooling down your room, using your air conditioning, or opening your windows if you live in a cooler place, or buying something like the Chili Pad, or in my case, the 8 Sleep Pod, which I just made another video about, which you can go check out here, and I'll also link it up down in the description as well. Next, he has a essential oil diffuser that he puts by his bed. He often diffuses relaxing scents like lavender, and I do the same thing. I think it's a great way to soothe yourself into bed. It's very inviting to walk into a room that smells really nice like lavender, has the red light, and then you get into this cool bed with your nice weighted blanket. It makes you feel safe, it makes you feel like, okay, it's time to fall asleep. He also mentioned this app that he uses called Sleep Stream, which plays ambient noise like white noise, and specifically he mentioned something called pink noise. So I turned on the pink noise and I put it on airplane mode next to my bed as I started to get ready to fall asleep. When Ben was talking about it, I was really excited about this whole pink noise thing, but then when I actually tried it and I listened to it, I was like, what is this? It is the worst noise ever. I don't know how people could actually use that to fall asleep or how it could be helpful, but I turned it off pretty quickly because it just was super annoying, and yeah, it's no good. In my opinion, it's no good. And then finally, he lulls himself to sleep using Breathwork, which is something I do too. He uses a different count than I'm used to, but it's 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out, which when you're thinking about Breathwork, the longer the out is, the more parasympathetic it will shift you into. So I followed his breath pattern and it was very effective. It does help you fall asleep. It does gently lull you to sleep very quickly. Efficiency was pretty good, 92% efficiency, so 89 sleep score. 92 readiness. It's not bad. My heart rate variability was way down though. 77. I'm pretty tired still. You see that? Let's break this up into 2 sections. There's the stuff that I didn't like so much and didn't really work for me, and then there's the stuff that does work and I really liked and I'm gonna do more of. Let's start with the things that I didn't like so much, and I'm not gonna do them, okay? Number 1 is I don't like eating before bed. I like to have a nice window between 3 and 4 hours before the time I eat and the time that I go to sleep. I find that that's usually how I get the best sleep. And in addition to that, I know that the lymphatic system is clearing out after you're finished digesting. The lymphatic system is a system in your brain. It's like the lymphatic system in your brain, the waste system, the sewage system. It gets rid of waste up here. And that can only happen if there is enough time between the time you go to sleep and the time that you ate dinner. So for me, I like to optimize for that, and I find that it makes me feel really refreshed when I wake up. You know, the further I move my window from the time I eat dinner to the time that I go to bed, the better I feel when I wake up in the morning. Number 2 is the red light therapy before bed. I definitely felt that it stimulated me. It definitely felt like energized and it wakes me up. And so if I do red light therapy, we'll definitely do it in the morning and not in the evening. And then there's the 100 milligrams of CBD. In reflection, when I think back on this, I mean, granted, Ben is 185 pounds and I'm like 125 pounds, so it's kind of a big delta there. And like 100 milligrams of full spectrum, highest tier CBD is a lot of CBD. I mean, if you stop, it's a third of the bottle. And in my mind, I just can't reconcile that quantity of CBD being like the move, right? Maybe a little bit of CBD, you know, maybe like 1 dropper, maybe 2 droppers, but not 12 droppers, which is, I think, what it ended up being. So I'm gonna nix that. So maybe a couple droppers of CBD and not the third of a bottle, right? And then there's the pink noise. I don't know what to say about the pink noise other than it was just really bad and annoying. So yeah, not gonna do that. Now let's talk about the things that are great and I really like and I think everyone should do more of. Blue light blocking glasses are essential to controlling your light exposure, and light exposure is one of the 3 factors that influences your circadian rhythm. Actually 4. You have light exposure, you have movement, you have feed fast window, and you also have social cues, which I just learned that from Andrew Huberman. Shout out to Andrew Huberman. Keep doing what you're doing. So blue light blocking glasses, 90 minutes to 2 hours before bed, boom, big thumbs up on that. Magnesium, I think, is a great supplement to help in the sleep process, especially for people who are using melatonin to try to get better sleep. I am a big fan of not using hormones endogenously and messing with those. I would rather not tamper with that. I think magnesium is a great supplement because it is a mineral that most people are deficient in. And if you pick the right magnesium, like the one that I mentioned in this video, or just magnesium glycinate, then you're gonna see a lot of benefits in your sleep if you're deficient, or it might just help you relax and wind down in your evening routine. I think the gravity blanket is a big one. People really underestimate the power of feeling safe. Feeling safe in your bedroom is one of the biggest things that I talk about in one of the modules in my course, The Sleep Advantage, about building a sleep oasis. If you can't feel safe in your bedroom, then it's gonna be really hard to get great sleep, bottom line. So big ups on the gravity blanket. Next is gonna be temperature control. This one is massive as well. Your core body temperature is one of the most important factors in determining your quality of sleep and making sure that you stay asleep throughout the night. And if you can't stay asleep throughout the night, then your body's ability to repair, your mind and your body, is gonna be impaired because it's being interrupted, that process is being interrupted. So when we can keep that cool core body temperature, we'll be able to sleep throughout the night. And so I think whether you're doing this through the AC, or you're opening a window, or you get a cooling topper like the Chili Pad or the 8 Sleep Pod, then I think you're winning, because you're gonna notice, if you track your sleep, that you're gonna be sleeping better throughout the night. You won't be waking up as much. I think essential oils are great too. I really like diffusing lavender as I'm getting ready for bed. It works as a great cue, like Pavlovian dogs, right? Like you ring the bell and it starts to salivate, you turn on the diffuser, you smell the lavender, you start to get tired, you start to get relaxed. And that's also something that I talk about in the 3rd module of the course, which is creating custom sensory anchors, designing an evening routine that's built specifically for you, and you use your senses to trigger you into a rest and digest state, into a relaxed and sleep ready sort of mindset. And then last but not least, I love the breath work. It's something I do, and I actually started mouth taping. Shout out to Patrick McEwen from the Oxygen Advantage. I tape my mouth when I sleep, and then I do nose breathing, in through the nose, out through the nose, and I do a longer exhale than I do an inhale. Usually a 4 count in and a 6 count out. I love that for shifting you into a parasympathetic state and getting you out of your head into your body. It's a great practice to lull yourself to sleep, and I totally agree with Ben. I think the biggest learning that came from the making of this video was something that I didn't expect, which is that everyone is so unique. Every body needs different things. Ben might be able to take 100 milligrams of CBD, while me taking 100 milligrams of CBD turned me into a complete zombie, and I felt like I was floating inside my bed and having an out-of-body experience, right? So I think when it comes to health information online, you have to contextualize things, and don't do things just because I say to do something, or because someone on the internet that you look up to says to do something. You should just do something because it's, you're working with a doctor, and based on your blood work, that's what you need, and you're testing things for yourself, but you're not doing extreme stuff. You're gently, sort of trying this and trying that. And I don't know, at the end of the day, it's like some of this stuff, it gets in the way of you just getting great sleep. And I believe sleep can be very simple. It can be very easy. It's have a good environment, optimize your circadian rhythm, and create an evening routine, all right? If you master those 3 things, you're gonna be light years ahead of everyone else. You're gonna be having amazing sleep. And one of the most important variables when it comes to getting great sleep that no one seems to talk about is just going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. If you can't go to bed and wake up at the same time, what are you doing? And I get it, sometimes you gotta travel, sometimes, you wanna go out, you wanna do this. I'm an 80-20 kind of guy. So what's the 20% that's gonna move the needle 80%? So if you could take anything away from this video, think about the 80-20, think about the things I just mentioned, and what could you do to optimize right now. Ben, thank you so much for everything you do in this world, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. If you like this content, go check out the 8 Sleep video, or go check out the other sleep optimization videos I've made on this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.